Hi, I'm John Mallos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Friday morning. Glad you're here. It is Connect with Me, my friends, and today we have 4 members of the LGBTQ community. We're talking about Brooke Ashjian, whether or not he should be removed. Brooke was supposed to be here. We'll talk about that during the course of the program. 436-ME-TV option 11. Brooke is not here. Our guests are. You're there. Connect with Me starts right now.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
All right, back here with the program on a Friday morning. Monday morning is around the corner, and we'll have Evan Onstad on Monday morning. He's from KC24. We'll talk about all sorts of topics, including today's a very important topic about Brooke Ashjian. It's all over the Fresno Bee again today about what happened at the board meeting on Wednesday night, but that's okay. So I look forward to Evan's appearance here on the program again. He's got that Sunday morning program that comes up at 8 o'clock. They've expanded it to an hour. So Evan's take on things, very interesting. He's really, really into politics, much like your current host here on Connect with Me. Love the game of politics and like to follow what's going on, not only in our city here in Fresno, but around the state and certainly around the country. So I look forward to that. In the meantime, Ron Mortanian was our guest yesterday. He's for Reach for the Stars. I don't know if we have, do we have that video from yesterday or no? Well, it's a commercial. But you are going to enjoy the program that he put together for tomorrow night at the Paul Shigouyan Concert Hall. It is the dancers from Armenia, and I'm actually giving away 2 for 6 tickets in my hand right here. Go and see the Armenian dancers. Starts at 7:30. The doors open at 7. Paul Shigouyan Theater. You know, if you have to buy these tickets, they're roughly $60 each. I'm going to give 6 of them away, so you can call in at 436 today, ME-TV, option 11. We'll give those tickets away. For now, you're watching us live on Comcast Channel 375, as usual. It's a live program on Comcast Cable. If you don't have Comcast Cable, I'm not too worried about it because you can watch us on 13.1 and 43.6 over-the-air broadcast with one of those outdoor television antennas. Then the replay comes up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 13.6 YouTube, 8 o'clock tonight, 4.6 Biz TV. And I know it sounds like I'm trying to rip through this, and I am. Then go to our Ventura Broadcasting webpage, venturabroadcasting.com. Connect up with Connect with Me, and you'll see many of these shows the past 5 years that we've done here, 5.5 years now, and running still with this program on Comcast and over-the-air broadcast. So let me set this up by saying that last night, very late, during the baseball game between the Washington Nationals, they lost to the Cubs in the divisional playoff series, I received a text from Brooke Ashjian, and let me just read it on the air. It says, if I can open my phone here, this is the text from Brooke Ashjian because we had him booked on this program for the last week or so. So he basically says to me, if I can find the text, and it's right here, he says, John, total food poisoning from the Fresno Fair tonight as of now, not going to make it, sick as a dog. Okay, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps he is sick, but perhaps, I'm thinking to myself in the back of my mind, you know, it takes 24 to 48 hours for food poisoning to kick in. So I texted him back, have not received a response. Brooke is not here today. We have other guests. As you know, back in August, he made some remarks to the Fresno Bee regarding the LGBT community and how it pertains to sex education at Fresno Unified. We'll get into the gritty details of that. I'll read the direct quotes. But Wednesday night, members of the LGBT community were at the board meeting on Tulare at Fresno Unified. So they all gathered. Some of them spoke. They wanted Brooke Ashjian, who is the chair of the board, to either be censured, removed as the chair, or maybe resign and be removed from the board altogether. Nothing happened. Okay, Brooke is still there. He's on the board. He's the chair. And, you know, he's a friend of this program, so he can come on still. I don't know if he had food poisoning or not, but he's more than welcome to come on the program. But since he's not here, we have 4 members, as I said. For now, I want to roll the videotape with sound, GV Wire calling on Brooke Ashjian to resign. Well, this was a GV Wire story. Check it out.
My name is Bill Knesevich, pastor of Our Savior's Lutheran Church. Brooke Ashjian has chosen the LGBTQ community as the nasty villain. And we are just people who want to live in peace. He's, 1, ignorant of science, and 2, he has no idea of the hurt that he's causing.
State law mandates certain things to be taught, which I stated publicly I would support, because it's the law, even though I have concerns. But for the intolerant, that isn't good enough. You see, they want to silence any voice who dares question anything LGBT. Their tactics and narrow-mindedness remind me of those individuals my great-grandparents spoke about during the dark days of the Ottoman Empire leading up to the 1915 genocide of our people.
I would like to believe that elected officials of goodwill would hold people like this accountable, and the censor is one of the ways in which the board can do it. If the board doesn't take action, they're basically saying and legitimizing all his statements about the LGBTQ community.
If we cannot speak openly and freely, then how are we an open and free society? What do these LGBT leaders fear? Dialogue? Or could it be they simply want to silence anyone who may express or hold a differing opinion? To me, this is pure fascism.
If anybody's being divisive, it's Brooke Ashjian. And, you know, history has taught us very painfully that when you don't stand up to people like him, things only get worse.
What can Brooke Ashjian do to alleviate the pain and then the feelings of the community that you represent?
Well, I can only speak for myself, but one thing he should educate himself on exactly what a person who's LGBTQ goes through, learn the science, and then apologize, which he has refused to do. And as a matter of fact, that last letter he read doubled down on his statements of hatred. You know, I mean, that's the way we took it, as a sign of hatred towards this community.
All right, live in our studio right now is Zoyer Zindel. He is the chairman of the Trans Emotion Group. He'll explain what that is later in the program. And also, to his left is Bill Knesevich. He is the pastor of Our Savior's Lutheran Church. And we'll talk about Brooke Ashjian and what happened at the meeting last night and why they want Brooke Ashjian removed. I said prior to that videotape that GV Wire calling on Ashjian to resign. That's not true. It was our good friend over there, obviously from GV Wire, doing the interview last night at the board meeting, interviewing the good pastor here about what they thought. So it wasn't GV Wire calling on Ashjian to resign. That was kind of a miscue on my part. But anyway, we'll talk to our members here. We'll talk to 2 other guests that are waiting in the wings to come in on the set later in the program. And our thanks to David Taub. He is from GV Wire. He'll be a guest later, I think either this month or next month. He'll come on the program to explain from a journalistic standpoint where all of this stands as far as the community and Fresno Unified is concerned. Meantime, we want your phone calls, 436-ME-TV, option 11. We're back in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high-efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
All right, the commercial you just saw there was Reach for the Stars, and it's the Armenian dancers taking place this weekend, tomorrow night. It's our good friend Ron Martinian giving 6 tickets away to the first 6, or maybe 3 viewers, I should say, that call in at 436-ME-TV option 11. You can also call in and talk to our 2 guests today. We've got 2 other guests later in the program talking about the LGBT community and Brooke Ashjian. Zoyer, Bill, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell me, where is Brooke Ashjian wrong? Why is he wrong? In your judgment, in your opinion.
Well, he's wrong because he's ignorant of actual science about the LGBTQ community, about sexual orientation, identification. I know he thinks he's right, but he thinks he's right about a lot of things. But more importantly, it really doesn't matter whether a person thinks they're right or wrong about something, but his comments, they were just over the top as far as the way he vilified the community, and especially when the community sought to hold him accountable for his statements and actually his falsehoods.
Yeah.
Because the state does not mandate anything. The state says all school districts are to teach this, but only as an option. Parents, whoever, if they don't,
They can opt out.
Yes, they can opt out.
All right.
So he's trying to paint
They
it.
can opt out on sex education, is what
Right.
you're saying.
Right.
Zoyer, before I get to you, let's take this phone call here. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, well, thank you very much, John. This is Richard Miller calling, and just wanted to make a little note. I understand that the school superintendent is not there, but
Neither is
I
Brooke
wanted
Ashjian. Brooke Ashjian was supposed to be on today, and the superintendent wasn't, but we can't get either one of them on this program again, so I don't know why, but go ahead.
Well, they should come on. There's nothing to be afraid of, right? We're still the country of free speech.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Richard.
So the point I wanted to make is that this is not just a discussion about our position about homosexuality or it's not really, because what the Bible tells us that all sin is wrong. Now, this is a biblical approach, and I'm going to read something to you from Proverbs chapter 17, verse 15 that says this. And this is the school superintendent's real position, even if he doesn't realize it. It says, "He that justifieth the wicked, and he that condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination to the Lord." Now, I just want to make this point about this, that God is not against just one class of sin. He's against all sin. And that could be something as little as or trivial in your eyes and mine as being disobedient to parents. And so the thing is that Christ Jesus came to open our eyes, to give us new life. And to forgive us the sins, yes, but once he's forgiven us for our sins, he also wants us to walk in newness of life.
Okay, so wait a second, Bill. Before I let you ramble here, we're kind of short on time with this show. It's only an hour, so we can read, we can quote out of the Bible all we want today, and that's great. I'm all in favor of the Bible. What is your point today? Are you in favor of what these gentlemen are doing? Are you on Brooke Ashjian's side? Which side do you sit on?
No, I think I would sit on the side of the superintendent, who is trying to...
We're not talking about the superintendent. We're talking about Brooke Ashjian's comments. He's on the board. He's on the school board.
Yes, he's the president. Isn't he the head of the school board?
Right. We're talking about Brooke Ashjian's comments, and are you familiar with the comments that he made?
Well, I think he was against homosexuality, basically, is what it amounted to, isn't it?
That's basically what it amounted to, yes. And so I'm asking you, forget about the superintendent. I'm asking you where you stand with this issue. And
I would stand with the superintendent, but here's the point. People who are against
oh my God.
People who are against homosexuality, that is just one type of sin. you know,
Richard, we don't have the time to quote out of any book today. Okay, what I'm trying to.
I agree with you. Hey. I want to thank you for your program anyway, and the open debate and discussion that you allow.
But I'm just asking you, do you have a question for these two members of the LGBT community here?
No, I don't have a question with him. I don't have a question with him at all. But so I would stand in support of the member who's on the school board, the head of the school board.
It's Brooke Ashjian. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it very much.
You have a good day.
Okay, thank you for calling. 436-MeTV option 11 if you want to call in. This has nothing to do with Superintendent Bill Nelson. It has to do with the comments that Brooke Ashjian made. And I'm going to read the quotes directly. This is the interview that Brooke Ashjian gave in the Fresno Bee on August the 4th. It was a Sunday article, and they were talking about sex education. They interviewed Kayla Wilson, who's been a guest on this program before. She teaches sex education in Fresno County Office of Education. Okay, hang on, caller. I'll get to you in a moment. But during the course of the article in the Bee, Mackenzie Mays interviewed Brooke Ashjian about sex education. Now, keep in mind, Brooke Ashjian is the chair of the board. He's also a Mormon. He's a Christian. This is what he told Mackenzie Mays, and I'm quoting now regarding sex education. My biggest fear in teaching this, which we're going to do it because it's the law, but you have kids who are extremely moldable at this stage. And if you start telling them that LGBT is okay and that it's a way of life, well, maybe you just swayed a kid to go that way. That's according to Brooke Ashjian. It's so important for parents to teach these Judeo-Christian philosophies. That's what got everybody up in arms. That's what upset you. Caller, I'm going to put you on hold just for a second. Just, wait your turn. I'll be patient. Zoyer, I'd like you to react to what's gone on here today so far, only the first couple of minutes of the program. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's very alarming that the board of the Fresno Unified, the board chair of the Fresno Unified School District is so grossly misinformed about our community. None of that is medically accurate.
You're looking at the statement right here. What is inaccurate about it?
They're extremely moldable. People do not choose to be LGB or T whatsoever.
Okay.
In fact, many of us grow up in a world that is conditioning us to not be LGBT. And so it's something that is inherent, it's innate, it's something that is not influenced by the environment. So his statement alone indicates that he's done no research.
So it's inaccurate information is what you're saying.
Absolutely. Yes. Not only that, but him as the board president is sending a message to the rest of the kids in the district that if they are LGBT, they're not as valued as the other students.
Is there anything else about the statement that bothers you right there? You can look at the direct quote. I highlighted it in yellow.
Well, I think that he's crossing a boundary by mentioning Judeo-Christian philosophies in the area of the school district. It seems that he's overstepping his position as board chair by bringing those ideals into his work.
Okay, yeah, he's going to say, and just to be fair, because Brooke isn't here, and I want to be fair today,
sure.
I don't want to take sides on this, but to be fair, if you're going to bring in LGBT lifestyle and philosophies, and that's your right as a human being, as a citizen of this country, isn't it his right to bring in Judeo-Christian philosophies as well?
No.
Go ahead, Pastor.
No, it's not. You know, I mean, I have friends who are Sikh, I have friends who are Hindu, I have friends who are Buddhist. I wonder how they feel.
Okay.
You know, I've been a chair of many different organizations.
Right.
And you know, I know as a chair, you act a certain way. Now, he's the face of the board.
So you're saying as the chair, he has no right to bring that up?
You know, as a person, that's his business, however he feels.
Right. But you're saying as the chair, why doesn't he have that right as the chair?
Because he's speaking for the entire board when he speaks out of his office.
Okay.
I mean, you know, you want to temper what you have to say. Now, quite frankly, I don't think he cares one bit about the students or the school district. I think he's just garnering support for future political runs. And I think he's using faith in a very dangerous way.
Zoyer, go ahead, and then I'll take the call.
Which means he doesn't have the students' best interest if this is just a political platform for him or a means to an end. That means he's not considering the students. This was never about the students. Furthermore, we have tried to meet with him, and he's refused to meet with us. He met with us one time, didn't go well, and he is refusing to meet with us for any future meeting.
I want to clarify here, and Zoya, as long as you're talking, chair of the Trans Emotion Group. What is chair of Trans Emotion Group? What is that organization, Trans Emotion Group? What is that?
Trans Emotion is a 501c3 community benefit organization that offers outreach, advocacy, support, and education.
To who?
To the transgender community and those wishing to learn more about the transgender community.
Okay, are you transgender? Are you LGBT?
I am transgender.
You are transgender.
I am.
You, Bill?
I'm gay.
You're gay. Okay,
Yes.
so you're transgender and you're gay. Explain in your own word, because I mean, I think I know what it means, but I want to hear you say it, and you, Bill, too, the good pastor here. In your eyes, what is the meaning of LGBT? What does that mean?
LGBT.
Because a lot of people throw that term around. What does it specifically mean?
So it's an acronym. It's an acronym for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. And
So it could be any one of those, is what you're saying.
Any one of those.
Is that how you translate that, Bill?
Yeah, that's
pretty
it.
much.
Mm-hmm.
And do people throw that term around when they don't exactly understand the meaning?
Probably.
I think
Probably.
so. Or they assume that the whole thing just means gay, and that there's not intricacies in our community. There's
no diversity within that LGBT
Right.
acronym.
The subsets are there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air with our two guests. I appreciate you clearing that up. Go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah, I've never seen a minister support this kind of stuff. On top of that, the LGBT whatever community, it doesn't even seem like they know what they're wanting. Why should I have to tell my children or even expose them to this kind of stuff when it's not normal? It's not in any Bible. It's not in any of this stuff. And it'll force them to have to do it in an education system. It doesn't even seem like the LGBT community knows what they're about.
Hang on, caller. Don't hang up. Is anybody forcing anybody to do anything?
No.
No.
It's there. Nobody's forcing sex education onto our students.
No.
You can opt out if you want as
Right.
parents. I had that option too when my kids were in elementary school, but I opted them to stay in. So go ahead.
And I don't think that we're necessarily trying to change anyone or anyone's Christian view. We're trying to keep the district from changing us and marginalizing us further.
Go ahead.
And may I also say that one of the signatures on the letter, there were 14 signatures on the letter asking.
What letter is that?
It was the letter we presented on Wednesday night. Faith leaders, rabbi, and pastors, and
Asking?
demanding. Not asking, demanding censure of Brooke Ashjian and removal from presidency.
Okay.
And I will also say this, my bishop signed that letter, and I happen to belong to a denomination, the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, which is one of the largest denominations, Christian denominations in this country, and it supports inclusion of people.
All right, caller, you're still there. You got the floor. Go ahead and respond. Nobody's forcing anyone to do anything. Go ahead.
So, well, actually, he's forcing the station to get out of it. How is it you can demand somebody to have to quit their job because they don't agree with you? That doesn't even make sense.
The point is that as the president of the school board, he's representing the entire school district. So when he makes remarks against one section of the school district, and he's done this before, he's done it against the Hmong, he's done it against children south of Shaw, he alienates. Now, as the president, he was elected, of course, he can speak for his constituency, but as the president of the board, he did not have the right, and I think all the board members brought that up, how they were very disappointed, angry, and some of them even siding with us for censure.
Yeah, okay. Listen, time to take a break here. We're talking with Zoyer Zindel. He is the chair of the Transgender Emotion Group, a 501c3. Trans Emotion, okay. And Bill Knezovich, the pastor of Our Savior's Lutheran Church. I do have a call, but I'm going to put it on hold. Caller, I got to go to break, so I'm going to put you on hold for a minute. Back with our program here in just a moment. Connect with me on MeTV Fresno.
And away we go.
Here's a place that makes you smile. Stick around and stay a while. We're the home of great TV. That's memorable. That's me.
Follow me, sir.
Call them classics, call them the best. Call them favorites, be a guest. Every day there's more to come. Watch and see, there's only one. Me TV.
All you have to do is watch me.
Are you kidding me?
Follow me.
That's memorable. That's me.
That's me.
Me TV.
What do you want to happen to Brooke Ashjian?
Censure and removal from the presidency of the board.
Okay. You?
Yep. The same.
You want him censured? You don't want him removed?
No, I want him removed from
You want
chair.
him removed. You both want him removed.
We both want him removed
yeah.
from chair of the board.
Okay. Now there's a difference. You want him removed as chair or removed from the board?
Well,
altogether?
no one can remove him from the board. That would have to be a recall election.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
you want him removed as chair of the board?
As
Correct.
president of the board, yes.
Okay, and do many of the board members, because I believe that at the board meeting the other night, it was brought up that from a legal standpoint, no one can remove him as chair of the board because
That's
from
false.
a legal standpoint, he has freedom of speech just like you do, just
False.
like I do.
False.
Okay.
No, even the California Association of School Boards said that when a board member acts in contrary interest to a school district, that they can be censored. I know that Carol Mills brought it up. Because,
She's an attorney, by the way.
Oh,
Let me
yeah.
quote-
Well,
let me
I
quote
don't
what
think I
she's-
would ever want her as my attorney.
Let me just quote what Carol Mills said on Wednesday. Trustee Carol Mills, an attorney, said the board has absolutely no legal authority to remove Ashjian, although, and also that the bylaws don't provide for Ashjian to be removed as president before his presidency term is up in December. I hope that people do not really expect me to condemn the right of someone to engage in free speech. That's coming from Carol Mills. She's an attorney.
I don't care if she's an attorney. She's wrong. ACLU even says she's wrong because we checked
Okay.
it out with them. It's not about free speech. It's about hate speech.
Yeah.
He has used his position as president of the school district to vilify and dehumanize a whole group of people.
All right. Carol Mills went on to say, there is a distinct difference between condemning the speech, which I do, and condemning and punishing someone for exercising that freedom of speech. I have difficult doing that. Second one. Go ahead, Sawyer.
Well, I think this goes back to his role as the board chair. When he is in that capacity, he is representing the district and the education, and to do it so poorly by pretty much vilifying an entire community, that sends a message and is clearly not putting the students first.
All right. And Bill, you had mentioned to me last night that maybe some of the board members don't understand the word censure.
Yes,
as
one
opposed to
of the
censor.
pastors had
You
brought that
explain
up. Yeah.
All right.
Because
Censure in the dictionary says express severe disapproval of someone or something, typically in a form of a statement.
right.
Okay. Everybody should know what that means, right? You shouldn't
Right.
have to look that up.
But the way some of the board members took it was like we were trying to censor him.
To censor
Silence.
him. To
Yeah.
silence him.
Yes.
There's a big difference.
Right.
You're not trying to silence him, but you're trying to rebuke what he's saying.
Exactly. And that's what it comes down to is he is the face of Fresno Unified School
Right.
District. So when he speaks, and by the way, this is national now.
Yeah.
I mean, when he speaks as the face of the school district and says such hateful, vengeful things, that sends a really chilling message to a lot of people.
Right. And I just want to mention here, I'm not taking sides one way or the other here. I did invite Brooke Ashjian to come on. He texted me late last night, and he said he had food poisoning at the fair. And I said, I texted him back, and I said, well, it takes 24 to 48 hours for food poisoning to kick in. I don't know what the answer is. You know, I really don't know, and I'm not gonna. I'm not going to degrade Brooke Ashjian for not showing up on this program. I just want to point out that we've been promoting the fact that he's going to be here today. And I just find it a little bit strange, and I will tell Brooke this to his face. I found it a little bit strange that he would text me the night before the program is to take place and he's not coming on, and that's okay. That's his prerogative, just as it is the prerogative of anybody deciding not to come on this program or any other. All right, caller, you're on the air with our two guests. Go ahead. What's your question or comment?
Okay, am I on the air?
You will most certainly are. Go.
Okay, sir. My comment is this. We're always talking free speech, and it seems to be that it's only free speech as long as you agree with me. And when you don't agree with me, then it's no longer free speech. So if you look at the LBGT community or whatever they call it, everything that this group has come through the courts. When you go to the people always disagree with it. It comes through the courts. And so when the people disagree with it, and then all of a sudden they go in their lobby and they get what they got through the courts, then all of a sudden it's supposed to be stuffed down our throats. And the gentleman who's sitting there calling himself a preacher or a pastor, what he's getting is he's getting it through public opinion. Because if you look at the Word of God does not stand for homosexuality or any other LBGT. And that's my comment.
Well, okay. It's got to give you time to respond. Go ahead. You have as much time as you want.
You know, I get tired of fundamentalists.
But that's not the first time you've heard that.
No, it's
Come
not.
On, let's
it's
be honest.
not.
You hear that all the time.
They have what are called the 6 clobber verses, as a matter of fact, that go
but
after.
You've heard that before.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Pastor.
Yeah, no. You're right. I've heard it before.
You're not a newbie here.
But I just like to say, you know, that it's actually embarrassing to me when these people pull out the Bible and start quoting verse for verse, because half the time they don't even know what the verses mean. I mean,
Where do you disagree with the caller? Let's get to that.
Well, for one thing, the Bible doesn't say anything about the LGBTQ community.
Okay.
I mean, if you look back at the original Hebrew and the Greek, both of which I read, and you put it in the cultural context, the words, actually homosexuality first showed up in the Revised Standard Version of the Bible in 1946. That's the first time it was ever used.
Okay.
So, you know, they can throw the Bible around. I will just say this. Lots of Christians, including the 14 pastors that signed that letter and the one rabbi, agree with me. So,
who are some of the pastors that are on there? I know Rick Weiner, the rabbi who's been on this program before many times. Rick's a good guy. He's in charge of, what's the name of the group? Faith and Community, I believe it is.
Faith in the Valley now.
Faith in the Valley now.
And I'm part of that, too.
You're part of that, too. And so some of the others besides Rick?
Reverend Dr. Chris Breedlove.
Okay.
Bishop Mark Homerud, who's the bishop of the Northern California, Northern Nevada region, which we call the Sierra Pacific Synod of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. Reverend Ara Gugazian. Steve Ratzliff, retired Mennonite pastor. Reverend Norman Broadbent. Reverend Sophia DeWitt. Paul Clark, pastor at Lutheran Campus Ministry. Tim Steffington, Episcopal priest. So there were quite a few
that agree with you and do not condemn you for being gay.
No.
And for not speaking out against Brooke.
Right.
They all signed that letter. Have Brooke removed.
Yeah, you know, in my denomination, you have to go through 4 years of seminary, and you have to go through psychological profiles and stuff. So, and then you're certified. And there are in my denomination a lot of pastors who come from the LGBTQ community. Not only mine, but Episcopal and other denominations, UCC.
All right, let's put up another. Let's put up the picture of Brooke Ashjian again, who was supposed to be here today. And the quote is out of the Fresno Bee article, August the 4th. You can look this up online if you don't believe me, folks. There's certainly a lot of psychological effects that come from abortion that people need to be aware of, Ashjian said. Your life is a lot easier by not doing it. Look at these poor girls who get raped and have to have an abortion. If that's the way they've got to go, God bless them, but think of all the repercussions that come later in life, mental and psychological effects.
So who made him a psychologist?
You want to chime in here? Go ahead, Zoyer.
I just think that this is another example of how he uses his biases, or he's abusing his position and power to have a platform for his biases. None of this is rooted in any fact. It's not like he spoke to that population. He's projecting his own views and using those.
Is some of what he's saying, is it true or not?
No.
For some people, does it apply to some people maybe? Because everyone's different.
Well, everyone's different, but I know as a pastor, I have been with women who have had to make the difficult choice
of abortion.
Yes, as a matter of fact.
And how did that turn out for them?
Well, I do know. I would share one story with you.
Don't mention names.
Of course, I would never do that. And this wasn't even here in Fresno. This was at a previous place. But this couple had a room set up all for their baby.
Yes.
And when it came time, the baby was going to be born, suffering a miserable death in the first few minutes of life. And so they made the very difficult decision of terminating the pregnancy. See, you know, the problem with people like Brooke Ashjian is they want to one size fits all.
And it doesn't. We all know that because we all look different, sound different, act different, have different needs.
Can you imagine a woman who has to make that very difficult choice, or family make that very difficult choice, having to hear this kind of crap that Brooke Ashjian puts forth?
Yeah.
I mean, how does that make them feel? And now, you know, put it on going back to the original subject, I mean, he's done the same against the Hmong community, against so many.
And I don't want to get too far off topic here, but I want to bring this up because Kayla Wilson has been on this program a couple of times. She's a very nice young lady. She works, teaches sex education for Fresno County Office of Education, very knowledgeable in this area. And last year, a 13-year-old boy in Mendota raised his hand in class, asked Kayla at what age should he or kids buy condoms. Wilson, as I said, teaching sex education, told him there is no age restriction. She was stunned to find out that a local store had refused to sell the boy condoms. She went on to tell the Fresno Bee, sad thing is, people have this false ideology that by teaching kids about sex, that we're promoting sex. So that tells me that the district is not promoting sex.
No, they're not. As a matter of fact, school districts that do teach sex education have lower rates.
Is there a difference between teaching sex and promoting sex?
Well, absolutely. I would think so, yes,
and
absolutely.
That difference is what, Pastor?
Well, when you're promoting something, you're saying go out there and do it. Teaching about it is to teach all the ramifications of what it means to be in a sexual relationship with somebody. Both ins and outs, all the dangers and everything, and also, you know, to help people, especially children, realize.
Hang on, caller.
Children realize that, you know, abstinence is actually the best policy.
Yeah, but you can't always do that. Caller, I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to take a quick break here and come back with your phone call, 436-ME-TV, option 11. Hey, don't forget about the show tomorrow night. Paul Shagoyan Theater, our friend Ron Mortanian, who is watching right now, to make sure that I'm trying to give these tickets away. You want tickets to the show tomorrow? They're Armenian dancers. Nobody's calling in for the tickets. They're all interested in what you have to say. Anyway, sorry about that, Ronnie. I know you're watching right now. Anyway, 6 tickets to the show tomorrow. And the Armenian dancers are wonderful. In fact, Carrie will probably play the commercial during the break. You'll be able to see them in action. They're terrific. I wish I could dance like that. Man, dancing in the rain. See you on the other side of the break in just a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Whirlpool appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Touch the new Whirlpool Ice Collection. It offers a modern style made to create an inspiring kitchen experience. Save big on this Whirlpool Black Ice or White Ice kitchen. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Giddy up with westerns, we've got the best ones. Superhero sci-fi spin, grab the popcorn and stay in. Dramas, mystery, and action, take a look and see what happens. Carol, Andy, Lucy, MASH, timeless comedies full of laughs.
Hey, that's me.
That's me.
That's me, Chief.
Yeah, me, you gotta see. That's memorable, that's me. Me TV.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Unscramble. Sing, honey, sing.
Call them classics, call them the best. Call them favorites, be a guest. Every day there's more to come. Watch and see, there's only one. Me TV.
Try me. Me.
That's memorable, that's me.
That's me.
Me, you gotta see. That's memorable, that's me. Me TV.
All right, Paul Shigorian Theater tomorrow night at 7:30, and these are worth $60 a piece. Boy, you got that Armenian dance group coming in. It should be a terrific show. If you're interested, I got 6 tickets, 436 Me TV option 11. Got a caller waiting on the line. Wait there, caller. But now I want to introduce Jess Fitzpatrick. He is the co-chair of TransEmotion, and Richard Nieto. He is with P-Flag Fresno. Quickly, what's P-Flag Fresno?
P-Flag Fresno is parents of, I get the letters confused, but parents and friends of gays and lesbian and LGBT families. It's a parents organization, but it's not limited to parents. And it's a national organization where we cater to the needs of parents usually, but also children of the parents.
Okay. Okay, so what about you? Your organization is TransEmotion. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Are either of you part of the LGBT community?
Yes, I'm a transgender male.
Okay.
So I was assigned female at birth, and I use he, him, his pronouns.
Great. And you, Richard?
And I'm a gay man.
You're a gay man. Okay. Caller, you've been patient. Go. You're on the air.
Thank you. I just want to say that a couple things upsetting are I hear Armenians, I'm Armenian, and I hear an Armenian call, or that gentleman saying things that are spewing hate towards someone who's been singled out. Well, being an American Armenian, I'm only here because that happened to us over there. Another thing is people call in talking about the Bible and this and that. Well, you know, the Bible talks about God. They're supposed to believe in God, but God, isn't God the one who created us all? So we're all children of God. Who are these people to sit there and single someone out? All people deserve to be loved and happy. I don't care who, what color, this and that. And it just gets so upsetting to hear these people pick and choose what they like about. They're saying, you know, pick and choose. Well, they're doing it with the Bible. We're all children of God. So, you know, I'm just get very upset when I hear this stuff. And Pastor, keep the good work up. And we appreciate people like you. At least I do. And most Americans do. I don't know what that one guy was saying, how it courts and this and that. Every vote is taken as people. Americans love more than they hate. So that's all I got to say. And thank you for your show, John.
Okay, thank you. And Brooke Ashjian was supposed to be on here again. Kerry, put his picture up one more time because I want to read a quote. He basically said about this, the LGBT community and the activists, that includes you people here, the 4 guests today, part of that. He likened the LGBT activists to perpetrators of the Armenian genocide. How do both of you feel about that? Would you like to comment about that?
Yeah, so it's very interesting that a man who is in a position of power would liken a minority group that he has been talking very poorly about as a people in power who's killing other people. We're not asking for anyone to be killed. We're not asking for any violence to be said against him or anything like that.
What are you asking for?
Well, at this point, you know, we were really truly hoping that we could see his title removed as president. And we also really wanted an apology.
Hang on, caller.
We asked him very specifically at a meeting about a month or so ago that we would really love to hear him, you know, hear our side, and then, you know, maybe apologize for his remarks and talk about going forward and serving all of the students and the families in his district.
His response was?
And he refused to admit any fault. He basically said, but what about you guys? What about the things that you've said? It was basically a back and forth.
So nothing was accomplished.
We basically left it at, look, how about, you know, you write a statement, and then if we think that it's on the right track, then we can keep moving forward. Yeah. Literally within 24 hours, we heard from, it was in a news article, and actually the pastor, Bill, was the one who let us know about it, was that he was told from the staff that Ashjian made it sound like everything was fine, that we didn't have to go forward, there was nothing more to do, everything's fine with the LGBT community. And so not only does he lie and choose not to even consider he might, you know, have some things to learn about our community, but he flat out will lie about the situation at hand.
Okay.
So,
Richard, I want to give you a chance here to respond to the perpetrators of the Armenian genocide, comparing you and your group to that.
To me, just personally, it's ridiculous. You know, I don't know the context of what was said, but I mean, even in any realm of explanation, I cannot see that's, you know, a rational statement at all. But I would like to address the meeting that he did take the effort to meet with some of the leaders. Mm-hmm. And it was a very bare-knuckle meeting. It was a very rough meeting. It was
contentious?
More than that.
Okay.
And he stayed, and I would like to give him credit for staying, because it was a lot of
back and forth. Huh?
It was pretty horrible. But at the end, he did agree to, he would not agree to apologize, but he agreed to move forward. And our group is willing to work with somebody who wants to go forward. He said that if we would write together, what would be something we could agree on? And I think some of us dropped the ball in not saying, let's work it out right now. The tempers were really hot and emotions were high, and so that's understandable. But if he is willing to go forward, you know, PFLAG, Fresno, our national organization, is willing to work forward. If, you know, he will, you know, take policies that represent the law of California and move forward. And what I would like to suggest also is, in that group, when the tempers were not going so bad, there was a lot of knowledge from the people in the LGBT community that knew about the school district, and he listened. He did listen, and so they know the ultimate, you know, what effect the laws have. Okay. And if he could make a committee with those people, that would be a good step forward.
Let's go with the caller. Go ahead. You're on air.
I'm sorry that Brooke Ashjian was not able to be on the show today. I would have liked to congratulate him for taking a stand against this LGBT agenda being pushed on all of us. You know, when you read something like the Gay Manifesto, something that was published in an underground gay magazine back in the 80s, okay, Brooke Ashjian has right to be concerned for our kids not to be swayed towards that lifestyle. It's the same thing with gangs. You know, you take young kids, impressionable kids, and you start swaying them.
Yeah, but wait a second now. Wait a second, caller. I just want to point out, and I just want to challenge you on this just a little bit, because you know, our good pastor here today, one of the first guests, was saying, hang on, let me finish what I'm saying, and that is, he said, kids cannot be swayed that way. Either they're that way to begin with, or they're not. That's essentially, and I'm paraphrasing what he said. I don't have the exact quote, but there's no way to sway somebody to become gay or lesbian or transgender. Would you agree with that?
No, because they are pushing in schools as early as kindergarten to read books to kids called I Am Jazz, and all these different transgender books for children that they are encouraging kids to read. So no, there is an agenda, and especially look, for all the viewers that are watching, look up the Gay Manifesto and see what Brooke Ashjian has right to be concerned about.
Okay.
It's a very disgusting manifesto, what gays have in mind for children.
All right. I'm going to let our guest respond to that. Okay, caller, thank you for calling in. I appreciate your time, and thanks for your input.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Richard, he specifically mentioned gay men, or not gay men, but the gay community. You're gay. Respond to what our caller just said.
I've never seen such a thing as that, and you know,
the Gay Manifesto. You've never seen that.
No, I mean we don't. We're just asking for people to, in our group specifically, is like if there's gay children, whatever, we're asking for them not to be.
Hang on, caller.
Discriminated against, whatever. Because here's, and Brooke agreed with us that and you know, I don't mean to be supporting all what Brooke says, but he did agree that, you know, at the end of the day, we don't want any kid to lose their life, whether it's through their own hands or
Right.
to the hands of being by a bully. And the environment that's created is creating that. And we are just asking for protection and recognition of certain people. We're not trying to, you can't convert people to Mormonism or gayism or whatever you want to call it.
Quickly, Jesse, can you give me just a quick answer on this? Would you agree with our previous caller here that some kids can be swayed in that direction and that lifestyle?
I disagree.
Okay.
And I will be very short. I will say that I was born and raised here in Fresno.
Okay.
I didn't hear the word transgender until I was 25.
Okay.
But I was always different. I always knew that. I didn't have the language for it. But I struggled with my identity for a very long time. And I didn't grow up being told the words or anything like that. So
you struggled with your identity for a long time.
Yeah.
And do a lot of teenagers or even younger kids go through that?
Absolutely. There are some young people who they start saying, you know, they're feeling disconnected from their bodies as young as like 4 or 5 sometimes. So,
in other words, if they're born a girl, they feel disconnected from that gender?
That's right.
Okay.
And they'll tell their parents, you know, I am not this, I am that. There's one very potent story that was in a documentary called Trans.
Okay.
That a very young girl, a trans girl, as she was growing up, was, you know, she was threatening, 4 or 5 years old, telling her parents, I'm going
Hang on, caller, are you still there? Caller? Okay, I guess the caller took off. Call in again, 436 MeTV option 11. Go ahead.
Telling her parents, who were perfectly suburban, middle class, you know, just, you know, Joe Schmo, that she was going to die if she wasn't able to be herself. Okay. And so to say that we're teaching this in schools, it's not in schools. It's in 8.
All right. Hang on, caller. But it sounds like Brooke Ashjian's biggest concern from that original quote is that these kids can be swayed into that LGBT lifestyle. Am I right about that? That's his biggest concern.
Exactly.
That's his biggest concern. That's how this whole thing exploded.
Right.
Is that quote right there, swaying kids into that lifestyle. Caller, we're short on time, so let me get to your question or comment quickly though.
You know, this is a thing that's been going on now for 10 weeks. You know, I understand the quote and so forth, and I think it was misguided as well. But the LGBTQ community has addressed this, and the school board and the district has addressed this. They have put programs in place, have put psychologists in place, and so forth to assist LGBTQ directly for just those type of students for the LGBTQ community. So, you know, what is it that's the problem now? It was said the other night at the school board that Brooke Ashjian by himself cannot affect or make policy as one person. You need the other 6 board trustees, and they have all shown support and have put in policies in place for the LGBTQ community. So when you come up and you threaten the board and say, well, if you don't take Ashjian out as president or censure him, and you threaten to say, well, we're gonna remove you guys as trustees, or we're gonna threaten you by saying you are haters because you don't do what we want, that makes you guys look like Hitler. It makes you guys look like Mussolini or Stalin, you know, because you're doing the threatening now. because you guys are showing that you are just as hateful as the people in Charlottesville, because now you guys are just the other good people as well.
Caller, I just want to ask you a quick question. What side of the fence do you stand on this issue?
I have nieces and nephews who are gay and lesbian, and I love them to death.
Do you stand with this group or do you stand with Brooke?
I'd say I understand both ends of the spectrum because I am straight, but I have relatives who are also gay and lesbian, and I love them as well.
All right, got it.
But you must be tolerant, and
got it. Okay, thank you very much, caller. I'm short on time. I don't want to get cut off by network. Okay, so I appreciate you calling in. Thank you.
Could I say something?
Yeah, go ahead and say something, and then we're getting close to the end here, but go ahead.
One thing that's happening here, because it's a bigger subject, but we're blending two things together. One is gay and lesbian and transgender, and they are not necessarily connected. In other words,
what do you mean by that?
Okay, one is to who you sleep with, and one is who you see yourself as. So you may be born as a woman, but you are up here, you're a man.
That's transgender.
Right, but you will still sleep with another man.
Okay.
Not like man and woman.
Okay.
Regardless of your identity. Whereas gay is attracted to another man, or a woman attracted to another woman. So they're not the same
meaning. Okay.
Two different issues.
All right. Let me ask you both this. How much time here do we have left in the program? I don't want to get cut off. We have a minute and a half. Okay, that's very short. I want a short answer. Okay. All right. Valerie Davis, she's a trustee on the board, calling for a truce. Come on, people. Let's put a lid on this. It's dragged on long enough. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing what she said in the Fresno Bee today. Can we just put this to rest quickly? We have a minute now. Quickly. Got to go in 15 seconds. 15 seconds for you, Richard.
Okay. I applaud the rest of the board members who said yes to LGBTQ History Month and are making programs happen despite Ashjian refusing to participate.
Okay.
But there still needs work, and I see us working more with the board than Ashjian.
Richard, final word, and then we got to go quick.
I just think that Brooke demonstrated a need, a willingness to go forward, and I think if he could do a committee with some of the groups that were there to advise the school board on the needs of the children, they know more specifically what's happening on the ground, a feet on the ground type issue, and that would be a huge step forward, and I think people could save face a little bit that way.
All right. Okay. Thank you both. I appreciate it. Jess Fitzpatrick, co-chair of the Trans Emotion Group. Richard Nieto, PFLAG Fresno. He already explained what that is. We'll see you back here on Monday. Thank you, gentlemen. People, LGBT community, for coming into the program today to talk about this issue. Hope Brooke Ashjian can make it on this program sometime soon. Ronnie, no phone calls on this today, so I'm going to give them to my friend Richard over here. He wants to go to the program and the dancers and whoever else wants them in here. We'll see you back here Monday with Evan Onstadt, my friend from KC24. I can't wait for that. Have a great weekend.